And that's the key. It's accountability. The minute we start treating anybody differently, you're going to end up in that second class citizenship bucket. Have you ever felt that you were a little different? Me too. My father was an ex-Catholic priest who had a PhD in theology, spoke multiple languages, and read a book a day. My mom was a hardworking, oldest of 9 with a master's in English and an ex-Catholic nun. My brother went to the #1 high school in the world, Phillips Exeter Academy, and my sister went to Harvard. Then there was me, the dyslexic middle child, super confident with a chip on my shoulder, so I got into a lot of fights. I love sports and being on a team. It took a while, but I got my degree. I knew early on that my path would be unorthodox, and I needed to learn from the brilliance around me and to develop my own hard-hitting instincts. Now, after 25 years transforming Fortune 500 companies, I'm sharing how I became half monk and half hitman to help others to be balanced, high performers in business and in your life. Hello everyone, John Hunter here with HunterX. I'm going to talk today about a post I did not too long ago that some of you may have read on LinkedIn, and it was this. For those of you listening, it was no overlays. See that? Because as you know and remember, in HunterX, trying to give back a bunch of wisdom and knowledge from 20 plus years selling, building teams, solving problems in the high-tech enterprise software world. Some of these lessons are going to be for home, eating, business, selling, customer messaging. It's going to be all over the board. So we're jumping in and out of best practices, ideas from selling, team building, leadership, public speaking, parenting, changing diapers, getting in fights, you name it. We're going to cover it all. But this one in particular struck a vein. Thousands of views, dozens and dozens of commentary. And so I just wanted to kind of touch on it and really, noodle on it, as they say, a little bit. So, the word overlay, for those of you not in this business, this type of business, is a term we use to give a seller, or really any employee who's not the primary employee, going out and getting the revenue. In a lot of cases, it's referred to as a primary quota carrier, PQC. That's a great one. What are you? I'm a PQC. Not great. But PQCs are seen as the closest expense investment to getting revenue. And then as you grow the company bigger, and you need someone who can specialize in a particular part of the portfolio. So now we're talking about a software company that has multi-product, multi-regions, all kinds of different angles, multi-customers or personas that they target. And it's just too much for one person to handle. So this is usually when we're covering the larger accounts. So in the Forrest Gump of segmentations, right? Super big accounts, lots of buyers, lots of budgets, all over the world, right? We're going to cover them in this particular type of model where we're going to have a generalist. We're going to bring in pre-sales. These are technical experts. And then we're going to bring in sales specialists. And this is where it gets tricky, because we want to have a culture and an outcome where adding all of these resources gives us what I call a quantum leap, or an exponential payback on your efforts. It's not just one person getting you there. And this is where it can get tricky, and where some companies fall down. Because what ends up happening is we end up putting a lot of our energy, efforts, a lot of our compensation, a lot of our upside, a lot of our club trips, a lot of our messaging goes to the primary seller. And so we start off failing from the beginning, because we start thinking, well, we can't afford to bring everyone to clubs, so let's take out the overlays. And the word overlay gets into your culture, and you are DEAD, dead, the minute it does. So if you're a seller out there, you're a leader out there, and you hear overlay, go eradicate it. Come up with any other term you want: specialist, matrix seller, business unit leader, but get rid of overlay. An overlay, I think, fundamentally comes from finance, and I don't think it started from them in a negative sense. I think they were looking at their budgets, and they're saying, okay, we're going to budget X amount of sellers. Oh, what's the new model? Well, we're adding more sellers, but they're going to be in tier one, but they're going to be on top of the seller we already got. Now, it does blow the minds of a lot of finance guys, men and women. They typically say, well, why can't Bob just do it all by himself? Well, you go fucking try to sell this shit and you'll understand why you need help. It is complex. It's got tons of competition. The quotas are also usually reflecting all those extra resources. And that's not always attractive for sellers. Sometimes they don't want all that complexity. But I just want to tell you guys, I think the reason this post struck a chord was a lot of people have seen it done wrong. They've been personally labeled an overlay. They've done a ton of work and not gotten the reward, not gotten the club, not gotten the love, not gotten the attention that the other person got, and you want to get rid of that. The word overlay denotes negativity. It basically smells of second class citizenship. And everyone knows if you're at the top and you're building a culture, you're not going to get in early. You're not staying late. You're not going to kick ass. You're not giving your best creative self when you really feel like, yeah. And it happens even in hiring. The hiring managers will even fall into this trap of, well, I can't go get the person I want for this role because it's an overlay. So I'm going to go get Mary Smith or Bob Miller. They're really marketing people or they're pre-sales people. I'll give them a quota, but we're really not going to hold them accountable. And that's the key. It's accountability. The minute we start treating anybody differently, you're going to end up in that second-class citizenship bucket. And then you're going to reinforce to finance and everyone else when you're doing some, retooling of your budgets. Hey, let's go get rid of everyone who's not a PQC because you've fallen into the trap of creating the second-class citizen. You ended up not hiring the great, super meat-eating junkyard dog specialist, which you should, just like you do your generalist. And when you do that, you get both of those being the meat-eating, primary quota-carrying mentality. You have the leaders and the culture reinforcing it. Yep, all of you are eligible for club. All of you are eligible for career progression. We're gonna give credit and accolades to each of these groups when they perform well. That is when you get the exponential upside of having a matrix sales model. So, and with that model, you do want friction. One little trick I'll give you is have your specialists quarterly rank the generalists. Have the generalists rank their specialists, which ones that show up, which specialists are on time, which specialists are bringing new opportunities. The specialist gets to rank the generalist. Do they have an account plan? Are they bringing the other parts of the account plan to bear? Are they available? Are they holding regularly scheduled meetings? Because one thing I always tell the specialists and the generalists, but in this case, the specialists, if that generalist shows up and basically tries to block you out of the account, you go right by them. Yes, it's going to cause some disruption, but it's healthy friction. You have a divine right to hit that quota. We want everybody to go after it. We want to pay for performance. And listen, if you don't have these people set up this way, then why have them? Just get rid of the model. That's better than having the model and then not setting the model up for success. So tons of sales leaders opt in on that one. I think it probably helps taking this message to your with you during your planning cycle. That's when these things usually fall apart, is we build the plans, but without the mentality. And I think every headcount should follow this thinking, not just sales, finance, marketing, accounting. If we're just not giving them the right resources and investment to be successful, we got to ask ourselves, what's this business plan really all about? So that's just a little dialogue today, a little video chat around no overlays. I hope you're not an overlay. If you are, get rid of it. You're awesome. You have a quota ticking. You're after it right now. You have a divine right to hit that number. I want you to hit that number. You deserve to hit that number. Don't let anyone stop you. John Hunter, HunterX. Talk to you soon.